Hello, I'm Adrian Narup from Auxiliary Post 7448 VFW. Today I'm here as incoming state historian for the Department of Illinois, years 25-26. We will be introducing Diane Ahrens, our incoming department president, 25-26, and her story of Operation Sweet Life. But before we begin with Diane, I would like to show you a clip from WGN's presentation with their permission.
A local Marine is bringing new life to the old saying, home sweet home.
Ahrens now here with her story.
Hi guys, so Diane Ahrens, she is a woman full of grit and grace and absolute love for her fellow vets. Her latest mission is about exactly that, with just a little sugar on top.
The warm scent of cinnamon and sugar seems to follow Diane Ahrens wherever she goes.
It's just the way life should be. Life should be sweet.
It has been 31 years since the former Marine swapped her combat uniform for an apron, running the popular Piece of Cake Bakery in East Dundee. Locals know her not just for her legendary scones and pies, but those sugar-laden, award-winning cakes.
The sweetness for me is the adventure, reminding myself that I am a Marine, that I can and I will.
But even as lines stretched out the door, Diane felt something stirring well beyond her mixing bowl. A call to serve in a new way. So this month, 4 years ago, Diane transformed her bakery delivery van into this.
There's so much beautiful furniture out there that's going in dumpsters, and it's like, why?
Diane knew those used couches, kitchen tables, and chairs would mean the world to veterans trying to start again.
I know they need help. Got behind on your rent for whatever reason, you lost a job, somebody's gotten sick and couldn't work. I mean, there's just so many variables.
Overflowing with donations, Diane leased this Elgin warehouse and launched her latest mission, Operation Sweet Life.
Now we're going to need to find end table, couch, and love seat.
Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we served 20 veterans with full homes of furniture. And that's how fast things were coming in and going out.
Thank you, Diane and Pete.
They feel the love, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's my full-time job here on earth, is to love.
Her old bakery van now delivering furniture, a hug, and Diane's signature sweet treats.
Not exactly sure how she does it, but she does it like no one else. It's amazing.
Based on your life, I'd call you the queen of sweetness.
I'll take that. I will take that.
This week they are packing up for a family of 4.
I'm looking for a small lamp, sort of decorative, with a girl in mind, 9-year-old set of twins. I do kind of like the crystal.
And they get what looks brand new furniture to live in their home, and they're just like blown away.
Do home sweet home is our motto. And so that's what we try to deliver.
And people kind of think I'm crazy because it's a day-to-day operation, but there are so many times that we've been able to help somebody that has absolutely nothing.
That actually beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Each load of love, a mission from the heart.
And the people I've met and get to support, I think that's what makes it sweet. It really is.
Take care.
And Operation Sweet Life has been able to help countless veterans and their families over the last few years, which means they're always in need of furniture donations. So if you want to know more about how to donate or support what they're doing, it's just like so much good work. We'll post all the information for you online. All right.
I loved your description, a load of love.
Yeah. There's no better way to describe it, right? When you're backing it in with a truck.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, WGN, for your story about Diane Ahrens and Operation Sweet Life. Diane, welcome.
Thank you.
Diane, can you give us a little bit of information about where you began, how you got here today, and what your future looks like?
Well, my future is exciting. I'm very excited. I began Operation Sweet Life in May of 2021. So we have just completed our 4th year, and things have grown a lot thanks to our community and our veteran support. we're very excited to be able to share Operation Sweet Life as my project for my 2025 year as president for the VFW Auxiliary for the state of Illinois.
Diane, tell us about Operation Sweet Life. What is your mission?
Our mission is to help veterans with home furnishings and household goods when they're transitioning from homelessness into an apartment. They 99% of the time have absolutely nothing. And so we provide furniture and household items that we have collected from our community, and we reserve those and provide them for veterans at no charge. So we not only help our veterans to get the furniture and household items they need, but we help our community by providing a resource of a place to gift it to. So we do ask that it's gently used. It is pet-free, smoke-free, so that there's no dealing with allergies. So we no longer are able to pick it up ourselves, but we work with 4 different moving and clean-out companies that actually will pick up and bring the furniture and all to us. They do charge, but they also give a discount because it's going to Operation Sweet Life, which is great because Pete and I have reached even though we used to do it ourselves, we reached a point in our lives where we're no longer able to do it. So the cost of renting a truck and to hire laborers, it works out better to work with these companies that have the experience, they have the workers, and it makes it so much easier for all of us.
That is amazing. What are some of the greatest, simplest needs that our veterans can use?
We go through a lot of couches, recliners, comfy chairs, tall dressers are the most asked for, nightstands, end tables, smaller kitchen tables like dinette size are perfect, but we do go through a lot of regular dining tables. We do not use hutches. Every once in a blue moon, but I have about 10 in the warehouse already, so I'm not accepting any hutches. But and then your basics for starting a home is a set of towels, a set of pots and pans. Stainless steel are great. Teflon, no scratches, because they do put off toxins. So dishes, smaller sets of dishes, preferably no silver or gold china sets. It has to be practical for the veterans to use. Silverware, we're always going through a lot of silverware, a lot of lamps. So that's pretty, the basics. It's not, we don't need a lot of artwork. We don't need a lot of tchotchkes or collectibles. We have a lot of those already. What we really need at the warehouse too is shoppers. Those that are looking for collectibles or items that maybe they want to complete a set of china or something. We do have a small, and we're downsizing that, so we're always looking for shoppers to help us to downsize that part.
That's awesome. And what are the hours of your store?
Good question. Because there's only 3 of us that are there most of the time, it's flexible. I always say call first, just because we're trying to work it out where we could have 1 day a week that would be store. But with my schedule and Pete's schedule, it's kind of hard. But I do have a couple of volunteers that help, that maybe we can work that out. And we're also looking at the possibility of doing a Sunday afternoon once a month that we could have store hours too. So we get those that are home. So that's in the future. We're working on that.
That's always good information. Thank you. How do you find veterans that are willing to go from homeless and transition into regular housing?
Sure. We work a lot with the Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans. I would say 95% of our veterans come through them. So they're already vetted. And the fun thing about that is the veterans, Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans actually fills out a form that we have that's called a veteran's request, and they fill it out with the things that the veteran needs, and they send that to us. So we basically stage the furniture that they've requested, the household items. We put it all together, and then they actually send a moving company to come pick up the items, and then they take it to the veteran. So with Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans, they cover a 13-county area. So by serving a 13-county area, the veteran never sees any of it until it gets to their house. So it's like Christmas Day when it shows up. They're always amazed at the quality of furniture that we've been given and that we're able to pass on to them. The other resource is through the HUD-VASH program through the VA. We work a lot with Ahrens VA because they're within an hour of us. They actually a lot of times will come and pick up items from us in the VA cargo van, and that's very helpful. But we also work with Jesse Brown and James Lovell. So we cover a huge of the northern Illinois. With the Midwest Shelter, actually, we provide furniture all the way down to LaSalle, Peru. All far east is Burnham, Calumet City, Kankakee, and then all the way north is Evanston, Waukegan. Actually, we have a veteran that had furniture delivered in Waukegan just last week. Yeah. Wow. So we cover a big area. We average, I want to say, 20 veterans a month, but there's times when we've done more. Last week we actually had 14 veterans in 1 week. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So as I was reading through your statistics, and I've seen the growth of Operation Sweet Life, I have to commend you that you are at just about $500,000 in donations.
Isn't that phenomenal? I mean,
Amazing.
we've just been recently working on trying to put. I've been keeping a steady. We keep all of our resource requests, of course, but we just started putting into a spreadsheet. I'm not a great paper person, so I've been getting help from our board members, and they've been helping me to create a spreadsheet and put all the information in for the last 4 years. And then we started putting a dollar amount, which is like a resale value, not a brand new value, of course. And putting that together, and actually I just saw the numbers from January of 25 to now is like 65,000 already, which is fun. I mean, that's what's going out, but the good news is it can't go out if it doesn't come in. So that, I told them I'm not worried about what comes in as far as furniture and household items, because it doesn't stay there long. Right. It comes in and it goes out. So by tracking what's going into the veterans' homes is just, it helps me to do both. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 in my book. So it's like instead of trying to keep track on both ends of the spectrum, we are blessed that the moving companies that we work with do high-end cleanouts. And so we've had houses that have a living room, a family room, and another room. So you're getting 3 sets of couches and comfy chairs out of one house. And they're in great shape because they're not all used all the time. Right. So it's pretty phenomenal. Most of the families that are donating, their loved ones have passed on. And the income's from the house. It's not from the items that are in the house. So by them donating all the contents, then it gets the house on the market faster, and then they're able to also receive a tax receipt because we are a 501c3. So they are more than welcome, willing to donate all the furniture in the house to us. And I would say at least 50% of those are generally a veteran also. So they're giving back veterans, serving veterans. And that's exciting for me to see because, so many of the children, when they call, they're like, we got a house full. They're like, my dad was a veteran, and we want to serve, and we want to honor him by doing this. So it's a great opportunity.
So tell me about you. How did this land in your heart?
That's a God thing. I mean, he definitely puts it there, and he definitely reminds me every day. Because, well, I'll give you an example, even though it's not how it got in my heart. But just this last week, we sent a couch and household items to a veteran down in DeKalb. The mover calls us and says the couch won't fit in the house. We're like, did you take the door off? the house or the apartment? He said, yeah, but it still won't fit. Well, the good news is we had also put a recliner on the mover's truck so that he could actually take it to a different veteran that he had helped earlier that lives close to him. And he had asked us, he saw the recliner, he's like, can I take this to give to this veteran? Because he still needs a recliner. And we're like, sure. So this recliner was on this veteran's, on the truckload. So he was able to give the veteran that the couch wouldn't fit in a recliner, a really nice recliner, cushy. So he didn't leave without him having something that he could rest on. And then the mover is going to pick up a different recliner for his neighbor. So God just every day amazes me at how he orchestrates. He orchestrates the items that we pick out, the items that'll come in. I had a young family that recently moved here from California, both veterans, and we do a veterans baby shower, and they were asking if we had a crib, because they already have 2 children, and then they have a baby on the way. And so they had asked for a crib. Well, just a week prior, I had a lady that has a crib that she had for her grandkids, and she no longer needs it. The grandkids are getting big, and she's moving down to St. Louis area. And so I immediately put the 2 together, because it's like, and that's how Father God works. He connects us together. He gives us what we need. My daughter always says he knows what we need before we ask. And that's the exciting part of being obedient. When Roger and I had the bakery, everybody, because we did Operation Sweet Tooth, which was shipping cookies to the troops, we had a lot of people, because they knew we were both Marines, that they knew I was involved with Heinz, and they would bring us and ask us to take stuff, furniture, clothing, all this stuff. Well, that was way before COVID, and so we got a lot of clothing, a lot of furniture, and I would take it down to, the furniture especially, down to Heinz, to the Freedom's Path there. And that's where I met my friend Brian years before I started Operation Sweet Life. And he would put it in the community room, so anybody that needed a dresser, it was there for the taking. But with the bakery, everybody knew that. It was just they kind of constantly were asking, and I would take a lot of stuff down to Jesse Brown, clothing and other things that they would use for their community pantry. And but then when COVID hit, nobody would take gently loose clothes or anything else, really. I mean, it was kind of, everything was put in a stalemate. But so after we had to close the bakery, the landlord sold our building, and so we closed December of 2019. Mm-hmm. So, and then people still were calling. They knew, I mean, my number hasn't changed. So they knew, they would contact us, and they're like, we have this, do you have a place you can use it? Do you have a veteran you know? And so, and actually what pretty much nailed it was my friend Gordon Schnoll and his wife Dorothy. Gordon had passed away, he was an Iwo Jima veteran, and Dorothy had to sell her house. And so I ended up doing her estate sale for her, because combination of, I knew her well enough, right. She was comfortable, family was comfortable with me doing it. And so I did her estate sale, and the things that were left went to start Operation Sweet Life. Nice. So we got a lot of furniture, a lot of household items, and we made a nice profit for her and her family to get the house on the market. Dorothy turns 102 this month, so we still stay in contact, but that started solidifying what we were doing. And when we got the warehouse in July of 22, we already had 8 to 10 storage units at the U-Haul that I was spending money on. Thankfully, sad but true, but my parents, when they passed, my dad had passed almost 20 years ago. My mom passed 2021 also. Roger passed, she passed in 2022. Anyway, but my inheritance made it possible for me to actually start and get the warehouse. which has made all the difference in the world, because in the storage units, you can't tell what's in the very back because there was not a space left for air. It was all packed in and tight. So you had no clue, or can't remember what's in the back of it. So by getting the storage unit, the warehouse, we've been able to do a lot more than we could have ever done before. We did, for the first year, we did a lot of estate sales. But there again, it's a lot of work. And for two people that were, trying to price everything, get it all done, we just had to stop that. We've learned a lot, learned our limitations, and that has made a big difference in how we operate. So we're getting smarter, slowly but surely. That's part of the Marine in me. I, don't want to quit on anything. Just keep moving forward. And we're still learning, we're still growing. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for the opportunities that we have. Being the auxiliary president, it's going to be awesome. So, yeah.
So you have a lot of money going out in product,
Oh yeah.
furniture. How do you pay your bills? The store isn't that big.
No, and the store basically, whatever we sell in the store actually goes right back to buying toasters, pop-up toasters, microwaves, coffee makers, things that we're always running low on, pots and pans. So, I mean, we don't make enough in the store to even think about covering our lease rent. A lot of it comes from help with different VFWs and auxiliaries, American Legions, different organizations that have stepped up and do fundraisers to help us. Thankfully, we have gotten smarter with working with the veterans, that there is a grant that's called an SSVF, that we can charge a stipend whenever a veteran, whenever they send a moving truck. The SSVF grant pays for the moving company, and it also will do a stipend for us to help cover our costs.
And what does SSVF stand for?
I'll show you. It's Supportive Services for Veteran Families.
Good.
I finally got that into my brain.
And that's for low income.
Low income veterans, which 99% of the veterans we serve are low income. They're going through struggles, and they're finally getting started back on their feet. And that's one of the reasons we do what we do, because, they're in a new place, but then how do you get furniture? And it's an honor to be able to encourage them, and we're not sending them. Growing up, when I used to go to get thrift store furniture to get my house full, I mean, you were happy. You didn't care if it was a mess. It was a couch, But we have a higher standard. And our veterans have worked so hard for us. And when they're going through a hard time, the last thing you want to do is send them something that you're just junking. So it's important that it be something that's quality, and that you're going to honor that veteran. You're going to help them to see there's light at the end of the tunnel. They're no longer in the pit. They're on their way out, and they're growing up. So that's important. That's what we're supposed to be doing for one another. So
they served us, now it's time for us to serve them.
Exactly.
Well, Diane, thank you so very much for telling us your story today. I wish you the best of luck. I thank you for helping me become state historian this year. I'm very excited. If anybody ever needs to know where to send a cash donation, Operation Sweet Life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.